Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you have had a wonderful week here. For those of you who are new to Mental Health Moment with Dr. Hammond, welcome. For those of you who tune in every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, welcome back. And thanks for those who are starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. And for those of you who follow me on Instagram, Dr. Hammond, you may have noticed the Tuesday tip that I gave today. So every Tuesday, I'll put a tip on there for your mental health wellness journey. And today's tip is about blocking out the noise. And what I mean by that is, and thanks for those who are starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Welcome, welcome. But what I mean by that when I say blocking out the noise is all of the negativity, all of the stress, all of the distractions that we have around us. If you are really working on your mental health wellness and your journey, and hi, thanks for those who are still starting to join here. Then a part of that has to do with you blocking out all of these things, right? There's so much negativity around us, unfortunately, whether that for you is in the form of a toxic individual, whether it's in the form of maybe some habits that are starting to come back, some negative habits, maybe it's in the form of too much news coverage or media or social media or whatever form that comes in for you. And greetings to you as well. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Whatever form negativity is in for you, there's a couple of tips I'm going to give you today to think about addressing these things. And thanks, welcome to you as well. Thanks for those who are starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So whether you're tuning in live right now, thank you so much. This is the last Tuesday of Mental Health Awareness Month. So hopefully you've been tuning in throughout this month and continue to tune in every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Maybe you're live right now with me, but maybe you're tuning in on the replay or you're on the podcast. But either way, welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm going to ask you a couple of things. I know some of you jot down. You have your notebooks ready. So if you're a note taker or you want to jot some things down in your phone or on your notebook, feel free to, because today is all about asking yourself some questions. Everyone is going to have a different answer. There's no right or wrong. It's what it is for you. What are these answers for you? Because I know all of us are so busy. Our lives are hectic. There's so much going on around us. But if we take a small amount of time, at least, to ask ourselves these questions, that way you can move forward and again work on being the best version of you, which is what mental health moment is all about, for you to work on being the best version of who you are as a person. And someone said, news is generally anti-mental health always. Yes, unfortunately, it's a lot. That's a whole nother topic. But I want you to really think about. So the first question I have for you is for you to think about, what is it right now today? What is it that stresses you out the most? Everyone may have a different answer, and that is okay. So you can put it in the chat if you want to. If you're tuning in live right now, you can write it down, as I mentioned, in your notebook, or if you have your phone and you're a digital person, you want to jot it in there. But think about, for you, what is it right now in this moment that stresses you out the most? And the reason we're going to start there today is because what stresses you out today may not have stressed you out 2 years ago or 4 years ago or 10 years ago. And in the future, some of the things you're stressing about today won't even matter. It really won't. But today is what we're focusing on, right? The present moment. So for now, what is it that I'm reading some of your comments here. What is it that stresses you out the most? So that can come in a lot of different forms. And someone already said in the chat, that was my next example. But someone even said in the chat, people at work. So it could be your coworkers, it could be family or friends, it could be your workload, it could be a certain situation that's happening right now. There's a lot of different things that stress us out. Uh, and so the second thing I want you to think about. So the first thing is what, who, what is it that stresses you out the most right now? But the second thing, more importantly, that I want you to think about is this something that you can control? So second question is this something you can control? Now, if it is something you can control, so let's say someone actually said it in the chat there, people at work. So you may not be able to control this coworker or whomever it is in your life. You may not be able to control their behavior, but what you are able to do is you're able to think about how to change your time and your energy that you are investing in this person that may be causing you a lot of stress, a lot of grief, a lot of strife, right? You have the ability to do that part. So so again, if it's something that you can control and you can think about, well, I can control my time, I can control my energy in this situation, then absolutely I want you to think about how do you adjust that. And I say adjust because for some of us, what you might not be able to control, let's say again, a coworker, they may be in your space every day, and that might be out of your control. But what's in your control is your reactions to them. Someone said meeting others' expectations, and that's good and that's fair. And someone says not work, but manager wanting me to work more hours. Someone said sad about Ukraine and family interchanges is sometimes confusing, feeling misunderstood, daughter being an only child. Someone said parents expect me to be the solution to family division. So there's so much. Again, we all have different lives. So if it's something that's outside of your control, so again, there's things that are in our control, things that are not. If this situation is something that is outside of your control, I want you to think about what is it that works for you. Again, on mental health moment, we are open to every race, religion, ethnicity, gender. Everyone is welcome. If you utilize prayer in your life, you can think about praying about that situation. If you don't utilize prayer, but you believe in positive thinking, positive vibes, positive energy, whatever it is that you want to call it, think about utilizing those methods as well. Because again, there are certain things that are just outside of our control. However, there are still ways for us to work on ourselves throughout that journey. Someone said here, I pray a lot and I try not to get stressed out and I tune it out. Yay. And so I just want to be clear here because my tip today on Instagram, as I mentioned, for those of you just now joining, we're talking about one of my tips, my Tuesday tips, which was blocking out the noise. So the first thing is again to think about what is stressing you out. The second thing we're talking about right now is this something within your control or out of your control? What I will say, I do understand, I completely understand that some of my Tuesday tips, they're not the easiest thing to do. I know someone said on here, I am working on tuning it out. That is honestly the best thing that you can do, but we are all at different points when it comes to that. So I remember, for example, talk about tuning things out and ignoring things. I remember growing up, I was with my little brother who at the time, for those of you who have siblings, you know what I mean. I was so annoyed. I was so agitated. And I remember my mom would be like, just ignore him, just ignore. And I'm like, ignore him? Like, because you get on my nerves, right? And now we're like best buds and I love him to death. But as a child, I'm like, ignore him, like, because I was just so annoyed. My pesty, the pest of a little brother, right? But it's the same way when we're adults and there's so many things coming at us sometimes, and there's so much negativity sometimes coming at us. It can be hard to ignore those things. So I don't want to minimize that. Sometimes this is difficult for some of you. You're like, I'm good. Like, I know how to tune out the negativity, Dr. Hammond. I know how to block out the noise, which is great. But for some of you, you're like, it is overwhelming, Dr. Hammond. Like, how do I deal with this? Right. So that's what we're talking about today. Someone else said, we can control the narrative and keep a positive mindset. Yes, 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 and yes. Again, it is a process. It is it's hard for me to say because it's the truth, but it's hard for me to say because I know everyone's at different points. But on some level, you really do have an opportunity to decide what you tune into. The, there is going to be so much negativity in the world, but deciding how you want to live your life, deciding what you want to focus on is going to be important in your journey. There is so much negativity on social media, you all. You could, depending on what you're tuning into, there's so much. However, there's also a lot of good in the world. There's also a lot of positive things happening. There's also people around you. You may not even know their stories of resilience. I can tell you, I've spoken to so many people all over the world. You are stronger than you know. I know that because of all the people I've talked to and heard really difficult stories and but also stories of triumph and overcoming a lot of really difficult obstacles. So please remember you're stronger than you know. Someone said, we I solve by telling them no. And yes, that's another part of it. Again, there's things that when you look at your list, maybe, well, I don't know if it's a list, it could be one or two things that's stressing you out, or maybe you have a list of 10. That's okay, wherever you're at. But the things that are stressing you out, you have to decide if it's within your control, again, where you're setting your boundaries at. Because for some of you, maybe you have just taken on too much, and maybe some of these things on your list of that is just really stressing you out, you need to think about adjusting in your life. Again, if it's within your control, some of it is not, and that's okay. Someone said prayer is always good for me. Beautiful. Someone said you have to tune out things sometimes. I go for a walk, I read, I color, I do puzzles. Fantastic, because the other thing, the third question I have for you, and that goes into this, is so again, the first one is what stresses you out? What is stressing you out right now? Number two is it within your control? Because there's different ways to react if it is or not. And the third thing I want you to be doing very frequently is think about where is your physical and mental energy levels. So everyone has a we all I mean, some of us are really high energy people, very energetic. Some of us are a little bit lower. That's okay. But for who you know you are, because I believe everyone knows we know ourselves best. For where you know you're at, are you at a point where you're like, Dr. Hammond, physically I'm drained, emotionally, mentally I am fatigued, I am worn out. Are you there, or are you thriving, and are you mentally and physically at your best? Where are you at? Again, everyone's at a different stage, but that's my third question for you that I want you to be thinking about, and not just for today, hopefully for today's mental health moment, but really throughout your life. This is something you should be thinking about often, because once you know where you're at, then you can take the right steps. So, like someone said here, I go for a walk, I read, I color, I do puzzles. If you know you're like, man, I am so drained, you need something to uplift you, right? So, what for you do you need to uplift you? Everyone has a different answer. What do you need? And hi, thanks for joining here. And what do you need in order to get you to a thriving level? You are allowed to thrive. You are allowed to have energy and be physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally happy. So what do you need to get to that level, right? Someone else said I had to get rid of some of my duties. I was getting stressed doing for others, forgetting about me, but I changed that now. It's about me now. Good for you. I love to hear these stories because like I always tell you all, I know, man, I got, if I had 3 more hours, I have a lot of stories to tell you. But we have to put ourselves first. As selfish as that sound, it's not. It is not, because when we put ourselves first and we're taking care of ourselves, it allows us to be the best version of who we are going into whatever role we have. If you're a parent, grandparent, sister, brother, uncle, godparent, whatever role you have, along with your responsibilities in life, it allows you to bring that version of who you are to those situations when you put yourself first. So I'm glad someone said that. Thank you for that testimony. That was good because it is stressful. It really is stressful. And it's okay. Don't beat yourself up if you're like, Dr. Hammond, I'm one of those people, I put myself last. Everybody's ahead. I'm trying to take care of everybody. It just means you're more of a giver. But for those of you who are in that boat and you are more giving, please think about giving more to yourself as well. And please know that you are the type of person you're going to need more self care. Sorry to say it, but you are going to need more self care if you fall into that bucket. And that's okay. It literally is a change of mindset. Once you make that commitment to your self care, life gets a lot easier. I am a witness of that. I've told you all before. For those of you who don't know my story, that years ago I really did not have good self care at all. Running ragged, doing too many things without self care. Now, totally different boat. Very, very committed to self care, making sure to take care of myself physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And it has been very life changing. So that's why I love Mental Health Moment to share with you all how important this is, because I know what the other side looks like, and it's not healthy and it's not fun, and it doesn't bring about the best version of who you are. Um, Someone else said amen. So again, so think about um where your energy levels are physically, mentally, emotionally. And then the fourth thing is, what do you need to do now in order to get to the place that you want to be at? Because again, as we talked about at the beginning of this year, hopefully on your list of goals and uh, vision board or whatever it is you want to call it for this year, you also thought about your mental health and your wellness, and you made those goals. So we're almost halfway through the year here. So it's thinking about, what do you need to do now to move forward? Because that is one of my huge motivations for Mental Health Moment, is really for you to be thinking about, how do I move forward? How do I continue to bring about my best mental health? All of us have mental health. How do I continue to bring about my best wellness? Right. So someone said, I put in a request for a position change. I need to care for me during this season of my life. Good for you. Action is important. I love, for the record, thank you, by the way, for all of you that tune into Mental Health Moment. Love it. Appreciate you being here to work on you. But again, I'm asking you to, or maybe you have to rewatch this later on, but write down these things. They say what? Write the vision, make it plain. So write down these things, answer these questions for you, and also take action on these items so you can again start to move forward in your mental health journey. Unfortunately, every single one of us are going to have the bumps in the road. We did a whole Mental Health Moment on that a little while ago. All of us have the bumps in the road. They just are part of life. However, when you keep yourself just really in a state of positivity, when you keep yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually strong, it's a little bit easier to deal with what life throws at us. Yep. Let's see. Yes, yes. I see your comments here. So again, if you all need me at any time, you can always reach out, as you know, at drnikishahammond.com. Also, you can follow me on Instagram, dr.hammond, or Facebook, LinkedIn. What else is there? YouTube, all the social media channels. And generally, as I always mention, I'm sharing some mental health resources for you. I'll also put some in the caption of the replay on YouTube. I'll put some resources in there for you as well. If you need a mental health professional, as I always tell you all, please be sure to reach out. I'll do my best to connect you with someone in your area. And then lastly, I know some of you had asked about, I've been getting a lot of questions about when my TEDx talk would be live. It should be shortly. So as soon as I know, I promise you all, I will send out the links. And for those of you who are new to Mental Health Moment, I did my first TEDx talk, which was exciting last month about children's mental health. So I will be sending out that link to that video pretty shortly. It should be coming out here for those of you who have been asking about it. Lastly, last announcement is for those of you new, every first Tuesday of the month, so that's next week, every first Tuesday of the month on Mental Health Moment is specifically devoted to children's mental health. So whether you are a parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, godparent, educator, and you whatever capacity that you serve children or you have children in your life, everyone is welcome, of course. But the first Tuesday of every month is devoted specifically to children's mental health. So just a reminder on that. Someone said self-care is so refreshing. It absolutely is. Absolutely is. But yes, if you guys have any questions, again, you know where to reach me, drnikishahammond.com or on social media. And I think those are all my announcements for today. Anything else, send me a DM on social media is fine. But have a great, wonderful week. Remember again to ask yourself these questions, write them down, write your answers, start to really think about what you need to move forward and take those steps. You deserve it. You deserve to be healthy. You deserve to be happy. So thank you so much again for tuning in. I will see you all next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube Live, and LinkedIn Live. So take care of yourselves. God bless you too. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all next week. Bye, y'all.